What's up, guys? So I'm going to do a little introduction now because Mansfield did not turn out exactly how we planned it to be. We did get some good personal experiences, and I'll tell you about them at the end of the video. I did not get to record too much. I'm sorry about that. There's a lot of people in there, and yeah, we could have recorded, but all you guys would have heard is the tour guides just talking about everything, all the people walking around, and just nothing I feel like you guys would want to see. So I got some recordings of just some personal moments and everything like that. There is other photos and some EVP sessions that I'm going to try and get and put onto a second video for Mansfield. But these are just from our personal walking around, kinda. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember, stay tuned till the end so you can hear about all of our personal experiences. It got crazy. It's just we didn't get anything solid. Let's put it that way. Alright, hope you enjoy.
You know, like they have to shave your head and like put a towel on you.
Welcome, guys. This is our first room in the Mansfield Prison. This is the actual electric chair that was used for 315 executions here at the Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. 315 people was executed right there.
Not right there.
Yeah, well, in that chair. Either way is fine.
I guess it really doesn't matter.
No, because it all leads to the same place. Second floor of the Reformatory. Yeah. I'm thinking it's this way. We're now up in the warden's quarters. All original furniture. And it actually is playing his home movies. This is the Shawshank Redemption part of the Mansfield Prison. It was just opened in August. It's basically just a bunch of stuff that's solely telling you about Shawshank and all the information on it. Yeah, that'd be cool. I love these old style books, like honestly. This is a reproduction of the original embroidered piece that was used in the movie. The original was purchased at a local antique shop. I wonder how much it was purchased for. You want to sit in the chair? This is pretty good to sit. Does it feel weird? Yeah.
Did you hear that chair?
I think so.
I don't know. Because it sounded like a little whine as soon as you sat down.
He shot himself right there. That's all I wanted to know.
So who was it that shot himself right there? Was it the warden?
He was about to get arrested for all the crimes they committed, and the warden ended up shooting himself before they knocked the door down.
Mm-mm. We do. Right here. Hey guys, we are now on the 3rd floor of the Mansfield Prison, and we just had a crazy personal experience. So this little space right here, we walked into, me and Nick, and it's basically like just mesh netting up top there. So me and Nick had the idea, let me turn the camera around if I can. I don't think I can, so I'll try and hold it this way. So me and Nick had the idea to do an EVP session in here. Well, my wife was standing outside of the room, and we stood in here and we're like, if there's anybody here with us, please make a noise. And we heard knocking from a window out there, and it freaked my wife out. She's like, she loves ghost stuff, but it freaks her out. So we were like, okay, if that was you, make the noise again. And it sounded like footsteps coming up the steps. We checked, and there's not a single other person on this floor, and no one was coming up the steps. It is deathly silent up here. So that's just a personal experience from us. I'll keep you updated if there's any more that happen, and I will keep recording. See you guys. We are now on the East Cell Block, 4th tier, cell 13 of the Ohio State Reformatory. The inmate that was held in this room was James Lockhart. Lockhart was serving 1 to 15 years for assault with intent to kill on February 1960. He took his own life by setting himself on fire in this cell with lighter fluid and a match. He was 22 at the time of his death. James Lockhart. See if I can't catch anything as I pass by in rooms. What was? It's either a bird or something above us, but all the steps up there are shut off.
Well, it's in that thing.
Okay.
See, it's that thing.
Each one of these cells held 2 people and all of their belongings that they were allowed to keep. We are now finishing our tour of Mansfield with the guards room upstairs. We walk through the east wing of the cell blocks, which are actually over there, and the west wing in solitary confinement. Most of the areas were closed off and everything like that. Nothing really big happened besides a couple personal experiences, which I will record those once I get home. all in all, it was a really good tour, especially for by yourselves. Pretty cool. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it wasn't too long or anything like that. I do have a longer video that'll be posted next week. Stay tuned for that. It's an abandoned school. I'll give you more information on that once I get done talking about all this. But I realized in my last video, I kind of just ran through all the information. I didn't give you guys anything big. I mean, for half of you who might be planning on touring this place, I didn't give you even all the prices. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the tours. Adults 18 and up for a self-guided tour are $15. For a guided tour, it's $20. For students 7 to 17, it's $13 for a self-guided, and it's the same for seniors age 60 and up and college and military ID. If there's any youth 6 and under, it's $5. It's perfectly, yeah. And then the audio wand is $5. So we got offered the audio wand once we got in there, but we didn't think it was a good idea just because we felt like it would be a bunch of information about like Shawshank, everything like that. Nothing that we wanted to do, just personal ghost stuff. One thing that we are going to plan on doing is they have paranormal programs here at Mansfield. There's two different kinds. There's the first-time investigators, and then there's the veteran ghost hunters. Self-explanatory. I don't really have to explain that. So, the public ghost hunts. For beginners, our ghostly guides will show you how to test the limits of paranormal investigating, including interaction with entities or spirits, documenting encounters, and basic use of ghost hunting equipment, as we take you on a tour of the decommissioned prison. For intermediate, it says interested investigators are welcome to join a knowledgeable tour guide on a 1-hour tour of the facility to better understand the footing of the building and hear the stories of the most documented hotspots. For advanced repeat visitors, begin your investigation in areas that are known for the paranormal activity. So basically, for beginners, you start out just talking about the whole entire thing. Once you get to advanced, you go straight into the hotspots. Evening schedule, arrive between 6 and 6:45 p.m. to complete registration. Tours depart at 7:10. There is pizza, soda, coffee, and hot chocolate that will be available throughout the evening. Independent investigating will go until 3 a.m. OSR staff will be available all evening for assistance. Facility highlights. 250,000 square feet of the facility to investigate. Walk the range on the 6th tier of the world's largest freestanding cell block. Sit in the warden's bedroom where his wife sustained a mortal gunshot wound. And West Cell Block, solitary confinement, chapel, and administrations. Now there is the private investigation. Starts about the same time. Cost $80 per person for more than 30 people. Can be a maximum of 100 people. The total cost, which it can be a big group, 30 people, is $2,400 for 30 people or less. And that's just Friday and Saturday. Sunday through Thursday, it's $1,200 for 15 people or less. Again, maximum of $100. Same thing, pizza and all that stuff included. Independent investigation until 3 a.m. After the tour, lights will be turned off. Ghost walks for 13 and up. 2-hour guided tour. Registration between 8 and 10 p.m. or 10:30 to 12:30 a.m. Ghost hunt classes. 2-part course. Paranormal investigating. Basically teaches you the basics of ghost hunting according to these people. It says what to expect. Help to understand the paranormal field and its vocabulary. Learn a basic history of OSR from the Civil War era through the present. Develop and sharpen your investigating and documentation skills. Learn types and levels of paranormal activity, including those at OSR. Communication with entities, learning how to use EVP and how to capture it best. How to capture physical evidence through photos and videos. Learn to take the best paranormal photograph photos. Learn to investigate using protocol and hands-on use of equipment. And then it just goes on to talk about some researchers, tells you about the, excuse me guys, the event schedule, tells you a little bit more about it. But that was just to tell you, if you are interested in doing it, I suggest it. I plan on going back and doing a ghost hunt myself. This time more well thought out and less spur of the moment. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to Mansfield. So I'll talk about some of our personal experiences. Once we pulled up, it's been my buddy and mine's dream to go to this place. And once we pulled up, this place looked like a castle. I'm not even kidding when I say a castle. Huge. You wouldn't have thought it was a reformatory. You would have thought, oh, well, like it really is a castle just in the middle of Ohio. Once you get in, it has signs that point you everywhere. And we got this weird gut feeling. Not sure if it was nerves, not sure if it was anything else, but we did get this gut feeling. So we started the tour, walked through. Immediately once you entered the guard chambers, there was a temperature difference. Now, I'm not just talking about, oh, it's hot right here and then there's a breeze over here. Like, there was a noticeable temperature difference the second you walked in to this main hallway. And we checked the vents. The vents were blowing out hot air. The only thing that could be like, oh, I'm going to prove it is it's an old place. There's cracks and everything like that. But it was 50 degrees out today. And when we left, we were warmer than when we were inside of there. The first part of it, it's really well preserved. There's a lot of information. If you're a history buff, if you're a movie buff, anything like that, great place for information. There's stories written on the walls. You can learn about all the people that passed away there, all the people that were held there, all the cases they went through. But once you got to the third floor, which the third floor is where we had our first actual experience, like I was telling you in the video. So I'll explain it a little bit better. Me and my buddy saw this room, and we were like, okay, we're going in it. It's dark, it's creepy, we're just going to go in it. We walked in, and immediately it was weird. It was just, it had an ominous feeling about it. Once we got in there, my wife refused to go in. Of course, it was a small space, so I don't blame her. My buddy was like, all right, well, I'm going to record an EVP. So we stood in there, and he said, is there anybody in here with us? We didn't hear anything, so we asked again, if there is anybody in here with us, make a noise. Knock or something. Immediately, there was a knock on the window outside. And of course, we're on the third floor. There's nobody that was climbing up there. There was nobody on the outside of the window. Nothing hit it because there's no trees around this window that we heard the knocking at. So my wife pointed it out to us first because she heard it. And then Nick was like, hey, I'm going to give it another try. So he goes, if that was you, make another noise for us. And we just heard steps come, like human footsteps coming up the steps. And there was no above us. There was no way to get above. The attic was more towards the main center of the place. And when we left that room, we went into every room. We went into every single staircase that was near there. There was nothing. Nobody was even on the second floor below us. that could have even like echoed throughout. So we kept going, walked through the rooms. One thing that we found out is there's this idea once you're in there that if you place a single wooden chair into the rooms and close the door, when you come back, the chair will be moved. Well, we didn't know that at that point, so it was freaking us out because every room we went into, there was just a random chair sitting in the middle of the room. And of course, you're walking through a place that's known for its ghosts, known for its prisoners and everything like that. And you just see a random chair sitting in the middle of the room. So we took some pictures. There was another personal experience we had. When we kept taking the pictures, there was random lights that would show up, like with no reasoning why it would be there. There would be like a blue light. We accounted for the flash on his camera. In one of the rooms, there was no windows at all. There was just a light coming from the door behind us. And yet, when we took the picture, it looked like there was a light that was behind the chair shining down. So that's one of the things they said that you'll run into, is odd lightings inside of there. We kept going. We walked, got to the chapel. Chapel is this huge area. I wish I would have recorded it, but there were so many people in there, and there was a guided tour going on. And of course, like I said, I feel like you guys would get bored if I was walking around not saying anything and just having the guided tour talk about everything like that when I can just tell you about it. So they had a chapel there for all the prisoners. They actually had Christian rituals performed there. They had holy water. They had all the crosses, a box with a cross on it that was had ritual items inside of it. As soon as you enter, you get this weird vibe, sense, everything like that. Like I said, you get it throughout the whole place, honestly. But once you go in, you just get this other sense that it was something sacred. We took some pictures. I'm still waiting for my buddy to develop his pictures. That way I can go ahead and download them and hopefully put them on a second video for you guys. One of the pictures that he took was of the seating. And there was a shadow in the form of a person. It was just a misty shadow that formed right there. Something else that was really weird is none of the windows were broken at all. But on each window in the chapel, it said you are not allowed to take photos while looking out of the chapel. I don't know what that's about. I couldn't find anything about what that's about. It wasn't like it was unsturdy, and it didn't make sense to us. So we decided to head on, and then we entered the east cell block. I've never been in a prison before, but even with that in mind, the ginormous look of this place was something spectacular in itself. The first four levels of these cells were blocked off. It wasn't until the last cell that you could walk through. Well, the temperature had dropped so much at this point. So much. And yeah, it's a big stone place with iron bars or whatever they're made out of. But I told you, it was 50 degrees out here. Walking through, it felt so cold, like you were going to get frostbite on your fingers just walking past these cells. And each cell, like I told you in the video, held 2 people. Now, to me, though, I get it, they're prisoners and everything like that, but that is such a small space for 2 people to be able to, like, live in. Something that we found interesting was James Lockhart that I told you about. I actually pulled up a article, just a small one, that I'll read over for you real fast. I'll skip over what I already told you. But it goes on to talk about some of the stuff that happened there. And then it says James Lockhart, cell 13, north side, east block. What had happened, I know in the video, it says that he stole some lighter fluid and a match. And here it says Lockhart stole turpentine from the prison's furniture shop. While in his cell, he poured the liquid over his head and lit a match. His neighbor screamed as the flames shot out of Lockhart's cell into his own, scooped sink water over his skin to stave off the burns. The guards watched helplessly as James slowly burned. Now, we did an EVP session as soon as I shut off the camera in that room. My buddy, I haven't got to hear him for myself, my buddy says that we got something. I'll put that in the next video with the pictures and everything. But he says that after I said, what was going through your mind and made you decide to do this? And what he said, it whispers, is how? How could you ever know? And he says that the last few words are kind of iffy, so I don't know if that's exactly what it says. But even then, for something to come out and you can hear the words, it meant a lot to us once we rewatched it and we were like, we actually got something. We continued down the east cell block and we heard footsteps behind us. And you can see all the way down there was nobody coming. My wife had actually told me that she felt a water drop fall on her. If you look at the ground, it does not look like there is any liquid of any form. Me and Nick did not feel any water drop on us, so that was weird. That was her personal experience. At the end of the east cell block, we went up to the East Wings Hospital, I think is what it was. Once we got up there, it was just a bunch of big rooms, just as cold as the last. It was really cool because it was nice to think, how did they run this here? Like, it's weird trying to remember the history of a place and trying to picture yourself there at that time. Below that was the library. So we walked through that. We made our way around the cells. Nothing creepy happened. We got all the way down to what they called the hole, which is solitary confinement. And we heard so many stories about the hole that so much stuff happens because so many prisoners would just end up committing suicide in these cells because they're all alone. And when you walk past these doors, the only little bit of sunlight they would have got was through 8 holes in a small window on the outside of their cell. But we didn't feel anything. We didn't see anything. We decided to take another EVP session right around then. We didn't get anything until my wife was like, hey, there's people coming. And you can hear a female kind of like groan or like clear her throat in it. And it did not sound like it was anybody close to us because these people were coming, but they weren't close enough that you could hear them in the video. It didn't sound like me. It didn't sound like Nick. It didn't sound like my wife. So I'll have you guys be the judge of that. Let me know what you think when I post the video. We walked through the west cell block. There was nothing really big. And then finally we finished it off with I think the warden's chamber or the guard's office or something like that. I showed you at the end of the video. All in all, it was a good experience. We hyped it up way too much for what we had, just with the self-tour and everything like that. But even then, it was an amazing place to go, even for the experience, for the history. We do plan on going back, so keep tuned for an actual ghost video about this place. because I promise we'll do it. I promise we'll get there. One way or another, we'll get that. What I want to finish this video off is just with a couple other stories. Just some history about it. And first thing I want to talk about is the 8 most haunted sites at the Reformatory. Number 8 is the East Wing, first floor. There's no stories from it. It just says that rarely do we have a night where nobody experiences at least a few shadows of people down there. We talked to a couple guards and they actually said, yeah, like they see shadows. They had to stop their tours because they would notice shadows just sitting in the cell, or they would hear someone clear their throat and they would turn around and wait for someone to say something, and it wasn't any of the tour group. 3rd floor, middle administration. This is an area that gets to a lot of people. Shadow people, audible voices, footsteps, and the feeling of not being alone is normal. I believe that's where we were when we went to the 3rd floor. Because we heard noises, we heard footsteps. At one point, when we went into the Shawshank part, me and Nick heard a child kind of like yell. So that would work for like the audible voices, but we definitely felt like we weren't alone for most of that place. Once we started hearing the footsteps, we felt like we weren't alone at all. The sub-basement. This is an area that produced some weird experiences and evidence. This area was even avoided when the building was still in operation. So think about that. When it was still in operation and guards were walking around there, they were even avoiding this basement part of it. I don't think we got to go in there. I think it was probably blocked off. There was a lot of areas that was under construction. The chapel. The chapel says, this area has made many skeptics less skeptical. Lately, the ghosts have been getting rather grabby up there. We didn't feel anything grab us. At one point, I thought something was behind me, and that was right near the chapel, but nothing reached out and grabbed us while we were in the chapel or anything like that. We just saw shadows. West attic. So I heard the attic is one of the most paranormal spots there that you can get the most from. I couldn't find any way up there, and we looked and looked, but we couldn't find it. There was a little off section, but it was blocked off, and there was 2 standouts setting back there, so it was like part of the guided tour, only you couldn't get back there. Administration basement, there's 2 entities down there. One's nice while the other is not. Can't say we went in there. And then the cell blocks. It says, I've seen these areas bring grown men to tears. Many murders and suicides took place in these areas. I can definitely attest to that. It was one of the weirdest feelings walking through there. And even just reading James Lockhart's cell, it was just an overwhelming feeling of like someone literally lit fire to themselves because they didn't see any other way out. That was it for them. And then last is solitary confinement, aka the hole. This was the prison inside the prison. Many men took their own lives while housed there. Now, I'm not saying that it's not haunted. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying we did not experience anything while we were inside the hole. We did have to rush at the end. We had some family issues that we had to take care of. So that might have been why. All in all, guys, it was really good. On a historical side, I'd give it 9 out of 10. They had everything set up. Sorry about that. They had everything set up. You could read all about it, hear all about the history and everything. As far as the paranormal side, if you were going there just and signed up for the self-guided tour and nothing to do with the paranormal, I don't hype it up. Don't. If you hear stories about it, if you watch ghost hunters, if you watch anything on anywhere, even on YouTube here, if you watch anything, don't hype it up to what you might think it will be, because it'll be disappointing. Now, I can't say anything for the haunted paranormal investigation yet. I will. Like I told you before, we will go through it. We will record everything. I have plans to get an actual camcorder instead of just recording it on my phone. So hopefully my videos will start to get better. I will practice my editing. And I'm hoping that this can turn out to be something that you guys really like. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to check out pictures, I will put mine and Nick's Instagram in the link. Well, I'll put it in the description below. We also have TikToks. We do a bunch of fun abandoned places there sometimes. But my Instagram is at Knave of All Trades. Knave of all trades. Nick's is at Bearcats. Pretty sure that's what it is. So give us a follow. Keep an eye out for pictures. We don't only post pictures of abandoned places. We post pictures of our ghost sightings, everything like that. I do a lot of drawing, so if you guys like drawing, that's something for you guys too. Stay tuned. I have 2 other videos that I'm planning on releasing here within the next 2 weeks. We went to this abandoned school. I'll tell you guys about this real quick. There's this abandoned school in Moxa Hollow, Ohio. A lot of people call it the school on top of the hill. Pretty sure it was closed down in like 1990. It's perfectly intact. There was no problems walking through it or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure we caught something. I'll point it out to you guys. I'll make sure that you can see it. But just let me know if in the video you guys see anything, hear anything. Once I get the EVPs and all the pictures and everything, I'll upload another video. It'll probably be shorter than this, but stay tuned. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any ideas for how to make this better. Let me know if you have any ideas for anything around Ohio. If you guys live in Ohio or around Ohio, let us know if there's anything that you guys want to see us explore. Because we love doing this stuff, and I love making videos for you guys. Anyways, I'll see you guys. Have a great day.